Lesson 312. I see all things as I would have them be. Welcome to the Qigong support for A Course in Miracles students. My name is Judith and this is the Lucid Mind Center. And today we are back in my living room where I started recording the first lessons after I came back from Croatia. And we are also in the meaning of the course where we are understanding that it's us who's giving the meaning to what we see. And I just want to check in with you how different you feel today about the meaning than you did when you first began A Course in Miracles. For example, lesson 9, I see nothing as it is now in relation to this. And yesterday's lesson 311, compared to lesson 8, my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Yesterday's lesson was, I judge everything as I would have it be, in paraphrasing. And the very first lesson, just to remind you, nothing I see means anything. Lesson 10, my thoughts do not mean anything. And lesson 11, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. And today, I see all things as I would have them be. And that is how we are coming full circle. We are returning back. For me, everything goes in circles. It is like a spiral. We are coming up each time. We are coming up one spiral up in our understanding. And it feels like we are going in circles. It feels like we are not advancing, but we are advancing. We are just advancing up, returning back into full consciousness, because we were like in a deep sleep, in deep darkness, in a deep yin mode, and we are now returning back into the yang. The reason this is called Qigong support is because after reading and contemplating this lesson together with you, I'm going to guide you to a Qigong class, which I've recorded especially for this special thought, what is the Last Judgement, and to help you internalize and actualize the thought, the idea in your being, in your human experience. Because that's our job. We need to bring back the divine into this human experience. We got to claim it back and say, no, this human experience is divine. And we got to claim it back and say, that is what we want for the human experience. That is what we want for the world. So let's begin reading our lesson together. I'm going to give you more instructions at the end. Lesson 312. I see all things as I would have them be. Perception follows judgment. Having judged, you therefore see what you would look upon. So first we judge, and then we perceive the way we have judged, and then we see our judgment. And I think it's very interesting here, especially if you've been here with me for quite some time. For me, what we're seeing around us, I call this the field of perception. And that field of perception is for me on the inner wall of that field, of that torus. Each human has got like an energetic field around it. And on this field, we are projecting what we see. And we are also pulling into the forefront of our field that what bothers us. So if we are annoyed with somebody already for some reason, so when that person enters our field, annoyance comes up. Or if there is something which is triggering some kind of memory, negative memory, this comes like, it stands out in our field of perception. That's why we put beautiful things, or put things which are bringing nice memories to us into our field of perception, into our home as well. Pictures and memories and souvenirs we bring back from better times, because we want this to stand out in our field of perception. Perception follows judgment. Having judged, you therefore see what you would look upon. For sight can merely serve to offer you what you would have. It is impossible to overlook what you would see and fail to see what you have chosen to behold. How surely, therefore, must the real world come to greet the holy sight of anyone who takes the Holy Spirit's purpose as his goal for seeing. It is impossible to overlook what you would see and fail to see what you have chosen to behold. You see what I mean? You bring it back, you consciously bring back things into your field, so the next day when you come past them, that you will remember them. But of course, you can only influence this in your home. When you are walking on the street, you can't influence what you're going to see. So if there is that beggar every morning as you're going down to your coffee, he's reminding you of something. Now, if you dismiss him or if you help him, it doesn't matter what you do. This is just an image in your perception. It is not, the life is not more real or unreal for him than it is for you. It is depending what you're gonna do with the perception of a beggar on the street. Are you gonna let yourself be dragged down into ego, feeling sorry, feeling guilty, feeling angry, or are you just gonna notice, there's a beggar? It's not. I'm saying is that you do not wanna feed your guilt because the beggar is on the street, and maybe that beggar is on the street exactly because you need to learn not to feed your guilt when you see somebody who is less fortunate than you. It is impossible to overlook what you would see and fail to see what you have chosen to behold. How surely, therefore, must the real world come to greet the holy sight of anyone who takes the Holy Spirit's purpose as his goal for seeing. And he cannot fail to look upon what Christ would have him see and share Christ's love for what he looks upon. And it also goes the other way around. So this is the negative aspect, but it also goes the other way around. If you decide to see the Christ in this beggar, and you do then smile at him, maybe he smiles back, maybe he's drunk and he cannot smile, maybe he's got a mental illness. But that doesn't mean that you choose to judge him in that way. What you do is you look at him with the Christ vision and say, this is also my brother. This is actually me in a different human experience. How surely, therefore, must the real world come to greet the holy sight of anyone who takes the Holy Spirit's purpose as his goal for seeing. And he cannot fail to look upon what Christ would have him see and share Christ's love for what he looks upon. And that is the key here. If you're looking at this beggar with Christ's love, you might react in a different way than you would when you're walking past that beggar in fear, in judgment. So if you realize, okay, I am the holy child of God, and that beggar is the holy child of God because it's obviously in your field of vision, is obviously in your field of influence. So you are kind of walking past him and there is an interaction. He's not there just by accident. So what happens when you put that Christ vision on? What happens when you see that beggar as Christ as well? He has just forgotten that he is the Christ. He is Christ because you are. There is no difference between any of us. We are all the same. We all got the same amount of Christ in us, if you want to count it by amount. But the amount of forgetfulness is different. The amount of obstacles to the awareness of who we truly are is different. And the prayer goes like this. I have no purpose for today except to look upon a liberated world set free from all the judgment I have made. Father, this is your will for me today, and therefore it must be my goal as well. So in the Qigong class, I'm going to ask you to read the idea and read the prayer. And I am strongly advising you to do the class with me about what is the Last Judgement. In the Last Judgement, there is a statement, a message, if you will, from our Creator, from our Holy Father, from God, about who we truly are. And in that Qigong class, it is a seated Qigong class meditation, I read it to you 3 times so you really understand who you truly are. And together with that lesson, it's going to give you an additional insight. We want to end this year strongly. We want to end this year understanding, remembering who we truly are. With those last few weeks when we are completing our year, our dedication to our connection, reconnection to our source. If you are new to my classes and you're new to Qigong, I invite you to do the 2 classes with me, which are called How Qigong Can Help You as a Course in Miracles student. Because it's going to give you the basics just to understand parts of the Chinese philosophy, why we are grounding, what is Wuji. I'm going to add much more content after we have finished this in 50 days about the correlation, the connection between Qigong and the Course in Miracles, the truth in both, if you will. But for you to actually enjoy the Qigong classes, it will help you enjoy the Qigong classes more. And the Qigong is going to help you understand A Course in Miracles more, because the Qigong has entered into your field of perception for one reason or another. The Course in Miracles has entered into your field for perception, and you chose to pick it up. You chose to say, I'm going to do this Course in Miracles. I'm going to dedicate 360 days to retraining my mind. Nothing happens by accident. Everything happens because it must happen. Once love is involved, once holiness is involved, once holy vision is involved, it is more powerful than darkness. Darkness divides. Darkness, it's the ego. Ego divides. It separates. It isolates. It's that pocket of darkness where it wants to look inside. It creates a ball around itself. We create like a dark ball around it. We are looking inside, forgetting that we are actually in the light. And what we want to understand is that we are coming out of that duality, returning back into the light, returning back into oneness. And I'm telling you, the Course in Miracles is for us because we have chosen it. So this has been made for us. And just remember how many people were involved for this to arrive at your table, for this to arrive at your altar. Because the altar is a point of exchange. This is where you communicate with God. This is where you bring your illusions there, your meaning, and you say, can you please give me a new meaning for this, because I didn't quite get it. Okay? So with this in mind, let's read the lesson one more time. I see all things as I would have them be. Perception follows judgment. Having judged, you therefore see what you would look upon. For sight can merely serve to offer you what you would have. It is impossible to overlook what you would see and fail to see what you have chosen to behold, what you have chosen to see. How surely, therefore, must the real world come to greet the holy sight of anyone who takes the Holy Spirit's purpose as his goal for seeing. And he cannot fail to look upon what Christ would have him see and share Christ's love for what he looks upon. The prayer goes like this. I have no purpose for today except to look upon a liberated world, set free from all the judgments I have made. Father, this is your will for me today, and therefore it must be my goal as well. It is such an important lesson. I invite you to do the Qigong class with me now. Here is the seated meditation for what is the Last Judgement. I also think that maybe that standing meditation could be interesting for you. Here you have the reading of what is the Last Judgement together with me. And here you have the list of all Qigong classes if you would like to do another one. Love, light and Qi to you.